Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my very first Dungeons & Dragons race description. Today we will be talking about the human. Yes, everyone's favorite race. Well, what is there to say about the human? Well, it's very simple. Humans are us. I mean, I'm a human. I'm sure you, whoever you are watching this, is also a human, considering humans are really the only animals intelligent enough to use YouTube. Um, just saying. There's really not any other species on the planet capable of that. Anyways, that's a little beside the point. So let's get straight to this. What is a human in Dungeons and Dragons? Um, well, they're us. They're basically us in a fantasy world. That's really what they are. Um, so how does that exactly work in Dungeons and Dragons? Well, the main thing there's two big things on humans that make us what we are. One, humans are very short-lived. We do not live a long time. I mean, the average human in D&D lives to probably about 35 or so, and only makes it to maybe middle age before something kills them off. Disease, war, hunger, all that good stuff. Well, not really good stuff, but all that stuff. I mean, this is medieval times. People didn't live that long back then. And that's how it is in D&D. People don't live that long. They don't make it to old age very often. Um, in addition, even the humans that do live long, those that are kind of free from that, like the wealthy and royalty and that. I mean, even they, only last to maybe 60, 70, and a couple of peasants could probably make it that age. I'm sure you'd see a few old guys running around, but not many. Most of them would have died off from other things before reaching venerable. But yeah, even then, we're looking at like 70, which that's nothing to an elf. I mean, at 70, an elf isn't even an adult yet. They're still a kid. Elves likely live to they average around 750. Yeah, 750 years old before they actually die. Dwarves, they're a bit shorter than that, but they still live quite a long time. And, gnomes a long time too. They're very long-lived race. And I might even be wrong about elves. It might be a full thousand. It's been a little bit since I checked. But they live a long, long time is the basic point. Um, yeah, so that gives some interesting thought on it. I mean, look at humans in the real world. If you look at issues like environmentalism, that's been taking off a lot lately in recent years, but until recently, no one's really cared about it. Most humans before that, and even still a lot now, have the attitude of, well, I'm not going to be around to see it, so I don't care. Which, okay, there's some logic to that. I mean, I'm sure it's a controversial thing. A lot of people have their issues on that. But yeah, it's something that other races aren't going to have that problem with. Elves can't say, "Oh, I don't care if it gets polluted. I'm not going to be around to see it." Yeah, you will. That's why elves care so much about nature. Now, dwarves, they live a long time too, but they don't care. But that's because they live underground. They don't see nature. They try and build these vast halls and stuff. Um, but still, one thing that really bugs elves and dwarves and even gnomes about humans is they could become best of friends, form very strong alliances with the king and the king of a human land. Just these powerful pacts that you know that this king's never going to betray you. And then 50 years later, well, that doesn't really mean a lot because that king's dead and his heir might not have the same, feel for it. And 50 years to humans, that's a long time. I mean, just think about it. That's a long time. But to an elf or a dwarf or a gnome, not really. It's really not that long. That's like, you know, for an elf, that's like high school. For, a dwarf or a gnome, that's, maybe all of elementary school or something. It's not that long. It's a short period of time, relatively for them, at least compared to humans. So it really bugs them the fact that they can't. It's human culture is so unstable due to their short lifespan. And that's only part of the reason for that too. Which brings me to my other thing, which really makes humans humans. Humans are diverse. Humans are a very diverse race. Other races, Dwarves are almost always fighters. They tend to be very lawful. Often they're good, not always. Elves tend to be very chaotic. They tend to go wizard a lot. There tend to be a lot of druids and rangers among them too. There's a lot of stereotypes that really tend to fit. They tend to go certain ways. Gnomes tend to become illusionists or bards, but humans, who knows? They're just as likely to be a sorcerer or a wizard or a fighter or a monk or a paladin or really anything. They're just as likely to pick any of those options as they are any of the other options. They're there's no way to tell what a human's going to be. And in terms of alignment, I mean, humans can be any alignment. They're just as likely to be lawful good as they are chaotic evil, as neutral, and they could be anything, anything at all. Um, yeah, humans are a really diverse bunch, and that's one thing that really makes humans humans. Now, if you want to get into the statistics of humans, no bonuses anywhere, no minuses anywhere, no real special things for humans. Now, what humans do get is an extra feat at first level, pretty useful actually, and basically an extra skill point. 4 at first level, 1 at every level after, which you always get 4 times as many at first level. So basically 1 extra skill point is, well, not skill point, 1 extra skill, I should say. So you get 1 extra skill as a human, which is pretty nice. So 1 extra feat and an extra skill, that's really all humans get, which is useful, very useful in a lot of instances. They also don't have a favored class. They can be anything they want, so humans can dual class with no restrictions. If they try tri-classing, that becomes an issue if you don't do it correctly, but dual classing, no problem whatsoever. I mean, level 19 barbarian, level 1 monk, sure, go for it. Kind of a really weird mix. You have to take the monk afterwards in order to even make that one work, but it could be done. Barbarians don't lose anything for going lawful, but that's a little beside the point. Humans, they can do that. There's not going to be the experience cap just because they have, you know, 18 level differences between their levels. That's not going to affect anything. Unlike every other class, that's going to be a huge problem. They're going to be getting they're going to be getting experience drains for a very, very long time. So, yeah, it's a it's kind of cool that humans got that, which is one thing I like about humans. If you're going to be building a complicated character that requires, lots of feats and lots of different classes, humans probably the best way to go. If you want to make an interesting character, humans often the best way to go because humans, they can do that. They can be everything. In terms of playing a human, well, just think how would you think? I mean, you're going to think the same way that other people actually think. So it's easier to get into character as a human, which is kind of nice. Um, yeah, it's easier to get into character as a human because if you're playing like as a dwarf or an elf or something, you got to think, okay, how would a dwarf or an elf think? You really got to start thinking about that. Whereas with the human, it's like, how do I want my character to think? How would a person think? You know, how would a person with this particular set of mindset think? So, yeah, it's just easier. But anyways, I don't have a whole lot more to say about humans. So if you like the video, give it a like. It really helps if you do that. Um, Subscribe to the channel. If you have anything you want to say, put it down in the comments. And I'm Mitch, and I've been Mitch, and I'll be seeing you.